How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be doing my prediction video on the fight taking place this weekend between Errol Spence Jr. and dannyswiftgarcia. In this matchup, I'm leaning towards Spence to win by either a decision or with the chance of a late stoppage. If Spence is 100% in this fight, those are the two most likely outcomes in my opinion. I like this matchup simply from the fact, obviously you want to see Spence versus Crawford or Spence versus Manny Pacquiao, but with Spence coming off of a car crash that was almost a career-threatening car crash, I feel like this is a good matchup. I think Garcia is on the lower end of the top 10 in the welterweight division, so I feel like this is a good matchup coming back from an injury, just to test out to see where he is. I know Garcia is a risk. I mean, he's a dangerous fighter. He's a good counter puncher. He has power, but I think it's a calculated risk because, in my opinion, Garcia is on the lower end of the top 10, and there are clear ways to beat Danny Garcia in my mind. I think Garcia can be outboxed on the outside. We've seen that in his fights. We even saw Mauricio Herrera really give him trouble with the jab back in the day. Since then, he's lost to Shawn Porter and Keith Thurman. I know they were very close fights, very competitive fights, very good fights, but he lost those two fights. So there is ways on how to beat him. I think you can outbox him on the outside using footwork and a jab. I think Spence can do that in this fight. We saw Spence box behind his jab in the Mikey Garcia fight. And I feel like if he wants to, he can do a similar thing in this fight. I think Garcia's, slow foot, and I think he's pretty easy to hit with the jab. I think that's one way Spence could do it. He has a reach advantage, box behind the jab. I think he has the Olympic pedigree with him as well, Errol Spence. And on the inside, we've seen people able to rough Danny Garcia up as well. When you look at the back end of the Lamont Peterson fight, I don't know if Danny Garcia got tired or something, but he's looked to start getting roughed up by the bigger man in that fight. And I think Spence could do that in this fight as well. Box behind the jab early, bust Garcia up behind the jab, keeping it at distance. As the fight wears on and maybe Garcia starts to fatigue, he can start to pressure Garcia and use body shots on him, as we've seen Spence do in his fights. He's a very good body puncher, and he's a very good inside fighter as well. Now, I'm not trying to say Garcia can't box from distance or up close. He obviously can. He's a multiple time world champion, so he can do it all, but I just feel like Spence has the edge in those areas of the fight. To me, Garcia is most dangerous when the fight's at mid-range, or up close he's dangerous as well, but I feel like Spence can handle Garcia up close. So for me, Garcia is most dangerous at mid-range when he's able to catch and shoot and counter, because he's a decent counter puncher with solid power, and he's most dangerous with those hooks. I mean, everybody goes on about his no-look left hook and this and that, but he is decent. He is dangerous at mid-range. He's a good counter puncher with solid power, even though his record might not suggest that he's that big of a puncher. We've seen him hurt most of his opponents, and everybody respects his power. You saw a durable guy in Granados get taken out. You saw him hurt Keith Thurman to the body. I think he even hurt Porter a couple of times in that fight. You've seen him bust up, and hurt Robert Guerrero, even though it was an aging Guerrero who put up a good fight in that fight. Roughed Garcia up as well a bit. I think Spence has the edge in this fight if it's that prime Spence from before the car crash. It was a tough car crash. It was possibly career ending, so I do like this matchup coming back from an injury, because like I say, I have Garcia at the back end of the top 10 in the welterweight division. Top 3 for me is this is in no order. You got Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, and Manny Pacquiao. That would be my top 3 of the welterweight division. Then 4 and 5, you got your guys like Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter, and then Garcia might fit in the back end somewhere. I mean, there's good prospects and fighters coming through. I mean, like your Virgil Ortizes and stuff like that, who probably are going to be in this top 10. If not, they might already be in the top 10. I mean, I'd probably pick a Virgil Ortiz to beat someone like a Danny Garcia or a Keith Thurman, even though he's untested. I like the look of Virgil Ortiz, very hard puncher with a very good jab. So for me, it's a risk fighting Danny Garcia in your comeback fight from this car crash, but I feel like it's a calculated, smart risk fighting Danny Garcia, and that's how I think the fight's gonna play out. I feel like Spence is gonna be able to outbox him and possibly get a late stoppage in this fight. If not, I got Errol Spence on points. Let me know what you guys think of that. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you again soon. Peace.